Telluselle, and I wrote this book, a book about creativity. It's a short guide about the creative process and how you can make something work for you. Creativity is more than just writing a book or drawing a nice picture. It's about finding an idea that will create a change, whether it is to express yourself in a certain way or to solve a problem with an invention. So here's my presentation about what the book is about.
What is creativity? Creativity is an idea manifested through art, inventions, methods or processes, or solutions. A craft, on the other hand, doesn't need to be a creative idea, and it's a matter of the techniques, skills, and the way you carry out an art. What is an idea? An idea is coming up with what to do and how. And your ambition should always be to reach heights of originality. Heights of originality means that something is unique, never done, or never done in this combination. If it is so and it's found like that, you can patent it or even get a special copyright for it. So, how do you come up with an idea? In most cases, it's a lot easier if you talk to someone and do it together with another person. But you can, of course, also try this on your own. There are different ways to come up with an idea, and here are a few examples. You can brainstorm. Brainstorm means that you sit down and go over all these different things that you associate with what you would like to create, just different random ideas that you write down without censorship. And then you choose afterwards. You can also come up with an idea by doing research, looking at others, what they have done before, or even looking at studies and coming up with different insights about these studies. Then, of course, natural inspiration is always nice, and that you can go through nature, look at the design of nature, you can look at other art, and you can just simply observe people. Then, of course, there's also a matter of perspectives and opposites. If you deliberately think of something in a certain way and then deliberately try to think of it in the opposite way, you will find a new perspective. It can even be something so simple like you're walking a certain route and then you decide to walk the other way, the opposite direction, and then you will see things in a different light, physically and literally, and that will also be helpful for you to come up with an idea. Regardless of which kind of creativity you're aiming for, the creative process can be likened the same for all by simply comparing it with trying to grow a fruit tree, for example. Then we have the need, the seed, the pot, the soil, the water, the sunlight, the growth, the pruning, and finally the harvest. Creativity can often be based in a need. It can be an urge, a frustration, a problem that needs to be solved, or simply just a longing to express yourself. So what you like to ask yourself first is, why do you want to create what you want to create? What is the problem? What would you like to express? Then with an open mind and heart, you can begin to plant the seed. You do this by formulating the idea. What would you like to do? How should it look and function? The next thing to consider is the pot. Where will you create this? Where will it be shown or sold? Who will you create it with? Which tools and materials do you need for your creation? The soil is a matter of the conditions for you to become really creative. What do you need to know or learn in order to carry out your creation? What do you already know? And who can you check in with to make sure that it progresses the way it should? Then it's time to water your seed, your idea. You do this simply by executing, doing and redoing, rehearsing and recreating. For example, sitting down and writing that actual book, or really sitting down and drawing that specific painting, or sitting down and finally find out a way to assemble a certain thing that you would like to make into an invention. Then you prepare it to present it. When you feel you got together your first draft, it's time to shed some light on it. You test your idea and your creation by showing it to a few for getting their input. That input is then taken into account to see if you need to refine your idea some more. After gotten this input, or simply by thinking through everything that you've done and reading through what you have been writing or looking at your painting or your invention, you finish your production all the way through, but then comes the real secret. You let it rest. When you let it rest, just like you let dough to rise when you bake bread, it's becoming its own creation differently. You can step away and you can look at it again after a while, at least a month, maybe even a couple of months, and then you would see it with a new set of eyes, which will enable you to perfect it even more. Then you can prune your fruit tree. You can prune your product, your invention, or your creative artwork. You fine-tune and perfect the details, then you can distribute it and find different book venues where you can sell it and present it. And then finally, you get to see the fruits of your labor with a big harvest, we hope. The harvest is simply the sales you do with your product, invention, or creative artwork. Or it can also be simply getting reactions from an audience after you're performing on stage, or maybe showing it in an exhibit. It can be getting reviews, and of course also sitting down yourself to do an evaluation and see what lessons you learned so you can bring them with you into your next creative work. Now I'm going to disappoint you a little. An influencer is actually not a creative person or creative profession at all. That is more referred to as a model. However, there are a lot of creative professions that you can choose from, that you can go to specific schools or try to start learning on your own or together with someone who already knows the craft. These creative professions can be anything from sculptors, painters, illustrators, to singer-songwriters, composers, choreographers. It can be hairdressers, makeup artists, chefs and bakers, copywriters, art directors, florists, gardeners, and simply inventors and website developers. All these different creative professions are available to you to choose from if you would like to try to live on your craft. What about AI then? Is that something that is creative? Well, if you look at AI as a tool and not the end, you can use it for many things that is great for your creativity. But here you can look at it as a prompt that you write to an AI is the creative work helping you to manifest an idea. The AI itself isn't going to think out a certain idea. It's not creative by nature. You are who are programming it to becoming creative. AI can be used for various things. It can be for translations and grammar. It can be an encyclopedia. It can be for making summaries. And of course, to do different types of media files, whether that's videos, illustrations, or photo editing. Now, whether you would like to pursue creativity as a profession, with a profession, and live off, or really just want to have a favorite pastime doing a hobby, there are different conditions for creativity that can be good to have in mind. This is, have your basic needs met first. You're not going to make money day one. You're not maybe even not going to make money even if you do a really, really great job, because it depends on the market and everything else surrounding this. So make sure you have your basic needs met first. Then you can also look at creativity as a need, which is to express ourselves and self-actualize, meaning that we get to fulfill our own sense of identity and express that through various forms of art and expressions. And, of course, creativity is also a driver in society for change and progress. It's a way to have a culture for development, feeling that you're allowed to come up with different suggestions on your workplace, for example. It is a matter of solving problems, but most of all, it's also a matter of your mindset. You need to believe that you can be creative, or else you won't be. Now, take a look in your surroundings. Can you see that everything is the result of creativity? And you can be part of this creativity by looking into what would you like to change and improve. You can look at it for what can be good for the greater good. You can find ideals to live by and form them in your creative work. And together we thus become co-creator of the world. Are you ready to dust off your old ideas or really feel inclined to start something new? Then you're welcome to use me as your sounding board and coach. I can help you coach through the creative process. You can reach me by sending an email at aloha@telluselle.com or check out my webpage at telluselle.com. You can also find a book about creativity on Amazon and Kindle. I hope this helps. Please like, follow, and share for more life coaching tips. Aloha!